Hi, this is Kim Malinowski. Um, Decided to do a tarot reading. Feeling kind of anxious, been wanting to do one just because I got two new decks. And technically I've got more than that for decks between Yule and everything else. These are two that I produced myself. One is Good Omens, just like the official version, if you would. It's like the actual, you know, prime, everything else, right? So the official from Insight Editions. And it's sort of like the Buffy one. It's sort of on the same order. I think it's actually the same company. And then also Good Omens, the Ineffable Tarot by OneDapperCat. I actually like this one. I got it off of Etsy, so it's not like probably the traditional, but they make me laugh a lot more in terms of the cards because pretty much every card is either Crowley or Azazrafal. Why can't even say his name? I'm like, Mr. Fell or whatever. I haven't actually watched the TV shows. I've only watched the comic dubs and like fan videos and that sort of such, and clips. So there's that. I have to have my blanket condemnation of Neil Gaiman still. Yes, he did help start my career, but because of that, I also have to have the very, very firm, I am supporting Terry Pratchett. Um, I'm really getting into these characters though, and the idea of like my own duality and like each side is very much me. I don't know. I haven't quite figured out and put on my finger, like my thumb over it, which one am I? It really is on both. And so I'm playing with that in my writing. So I've been having fun with the decks in terms of that. So like I have like the positive, version of what's going on, and then like the negative, and like of course it's all relevant. I don't know how to do. I did a three-card draw of both. So I'm gonna start with the one that sort of is more of like a what I would say is like the questioning, like the bigger question, some of the anxiety that's going on. Like I said, I got on here because I'm feeling some anxiety, but Good Omens is a great way of, having it go on to some other characters and not me. So in the first card is the inverse of the star. So you can see the star, the angel in his bookshop reading. Um, I don't know. There's something about reading, isn't there? And when it's inverted, there is definitely like I don't know. I'm gonna read it just because it's very specific. The star, like the angel Sazeraphale, is glowing beacon of hope and goodness. It shines brightly on the otherwise dark, bleak night to renew your spirit. But inverted, reverse, the star suggests you're feeling hopeless and lost in despair. You stop believing in miracles and magic. Things seem dark and bleak, and you've lost faith in the ineffable plan. To get yourselves out of this headspace, look inside yourself. Why did you start this journey? What led you here? Reconnect with your original inspiration to give you the motivation to hold your head up high and move forward. Okay. And like in my life right now, I'm dealing with a lot of grief, shame. It's the holidays. I read one place where the holidays, there's all this busyness. And then when there's not all that busyness, that's when the grief and the doubt and sort of like what we consider our failures come into play that we sort of relive from the year. And it was insightful, that idea. So I think as like a prompt for ourselves to like have it reversed so we get our star back is that we sort of have to read into ourselves, maybe journal a little bit more. I don't know. After this, I'm going to be journaling. Or writing. We call it what we call it, right? Okay. Then the next one I pulled was the reverse three of demons. Now, I don't really know what that means, but here it is upright just so you can see what it is. Okay. A recent disappointment or loss has felt all consuming in your life lately, but you're finally turning a corner in your grief. Healing comes from allowing yourself to feel and express what you need to, say what you need to say, and then take the first steps forward. And that's saying it to ourselves too, right? Looking in the mirror. Who is it harder to forgive that other person or ourselves? Like I try and I tell everybody I live with radical love. Live for radical love for other people. Putting that same sense of radical love onto myself is very difficult. Instead, I do sort of the reverse. I put all this onto other people. I'm willing to forgive anything of other people. And yet, when it comes to me, I can see a whole lot more failures and faults than I can the love, right? So this might be a callback. If you're feeling this, remember that you can live with radical love and radical empathy, but you have to look in the mirror and be able to do it yourself too. Otherwise, you're not being authentic. And I have struggles with authenticity and honor. Those are my two probably highest traits I have to be to myself. I have to have honor, or if I've dishonored myself, move towards honor again. Or, like I have to live authentically. I can't live a lie or whatever you want to call it. Like I I can mask if I have to, or I can pretend to be a persona for a day. Or, like the poet Kim is different than the archaeologist Kim, but really at the end of the day, I still have to look at myself in the mirror and know I either got sunburned or I have to put on more makeup. I'm still the same person, really. It's just different parts of me come out. So, building on our wholeness, building on our forgiveness of ourselves. And it seems like we're coming around that corner where we can do that. All right. And then we got the 5 of humans. All right. Life is tough right now. Whether you've lost your job or an unexpected expense has you put in your bad financial position, it's clear that things are hard and you're having trouble seeing how to get yourself out of this. Remember that you deserve comfort, safety, and happiness. Keep going. So, winter, right? We just overspent. We just everything. I personally just got a speeding. Well, I didn't get a speeding ticket. I thought that I was following the law when I stopped to not stop for a bus, a school bus. I thought that I was correct in what I did. I was not. See, $250 fine, but no points, but a fine and a lot of guilt. So, putting back that guilt, relearning the rules, getting over the financials, and then moving on. Okay? Like we have to like at some point forgive ourselves and go past. And I think that was that. I mean, like that was a tough spread, wasn't it? All right, and like I said, this is the official deck. So I'm going to show you the backward art. Gotta love the art. All right, and then we get to the Ineffable tarot, which I just like I said, I thought it's fun. It does not come with the guidebook. So we have our 4 of Cups, all that temptations that we need to either indulge in or not indulge in, the idea that we are being tempted. And temptation is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's on our journey that we have to be tempted so that we keep going on in life and we sort of take that relaxing stance. And that can get us back to that instead of more like that radical self-love instead of just going out and, loving everybody else but ourselves. Sometimes we do need to reflect and be like, I am worthy of that same type of love. I am worthy of stepping back, taking a drink, enjoying friends, enjoying the holidays. It's sometimes tough. The Lovers, which I personally think is like the best ever, right? Who does not love this image? Although I have like in my soul because like it was the most beautiful, dramatic version that I saw. Like I said, I've only seen clips. I have not even actually seen the series, and I can palpably feel the angst and the desperation. So even if we're called to not have just like actual lovers and feeling the romance of the season or lack of romance of the season, being in part of friendships, being part of love, and that same sort of, if you go with our six cards, that radical self-love, I think the lovers are calling to us to like, we can be this desperate, right? To love ourselves, not just somebody else. And we don't have to give in to 6,000 word, 6,000 years of desire and going, no, you can't leave me. There's a lot better ways of saying, you can't leave me, right? In nice ways, right? Without like locking someone in, but just saying, you mean so much to me. Let's really listen to each other. Let's really listen to ourselves. And then, can you get a better emperor? I think not. So I think that we are looking for a mastery, not just for our emotions, of our physical space, our physical everything, um, and definitely being in control of ourselves and our destiny, our whims. There is something to be said about being in control of your whims, so that when you do overspend, you can dial it back a little bit the next month, right? And I think that we have to leave the reading on this joyous, angelic face, right? That smile. I think we have to smile and we have to get rid of some of our anxiety and just have some fun. Um, Emperors tend to have a lot of responsibilities, but I think we also, even though we have all those responsibilities, we have to be able to have fun too. All right. So that was your very brief uh Ineffable Tarot and the Good Omens official tarot deck. And Mary Terry Pratchett, Christmas to you. Have a great evening. Bye.